It's Monday, March 5th, 2018. We're expecting some snow this afternoon and through into tomorrow. I don't know how much we'll get here in Little Prairie, Wisconsin, but it's on the way. I'm going to be turning my attentions to this 1948 Silvertone TV chassis, even though it's been a while since I made a video. That project is still alive yet. I have some problems with it. I'll go over that, but I'm going to slide that over. This Peterson combination action, I've rebuilt the memory battery modules, and they're all installed. Now what I have to do is I have to get a 12-volt AC power supply to power up the recharging units for these batteries. That's this module right here, power supply that actually does the charging. I also have to get a big 12-volt DC power supply, and then I have to get some Reisner electric stop key actions, maybe 4 or 6 of them, and a few switches and buttons and everything, because what I need to do is I need to breadboard this thing together on the bench and test it to see how well it's going to work before I attempt to do anything to the console. So that's the next step. So this is going to sit to the side until I get those parts I need to start to resume this project. But I'm going to be sliding the 1948 Silvertone chassis back over and do a little bit of work on it. So I have the 1948 Silvertone television chassis slid into place that I'm going to do some work on it. You might remember from some of my previous videos that on this set that I feel that this transformer, the voltage, the B plus voltage, is too high. Now the person who attempted to get this set working many years ago with the work he did on it, one of the things he did was he put 2 diodes in place to replace these 2 5U4 rectifiers. This transformer only has one 5-volt filament winding, and that he had feeding the horizontal damper filament on the horizontal damper tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a module. I took the diodes out. I was going to do some rebuilding on this, but I took the diodes out, and I'm going to put a plug-in module in one of these sockets to replace the 5U4s. Now it was suggested by another expert television restorer. I shouldn't say another expert. I don't consider myself an expert at this. This is probably, I think, the 3rd television I've worked on, but an expert television restorer suggested that before I rule out the wrong voltage on this transformer, I should restore the rest of the circuit, replace all the capacitors, and then see how the set operates. And I kind of agree with that. I think that's a good idea, and that's what I'm doing. Now I have the high voltage cage upended. I've checked these mica capacitors. They're right on the right value. I got to reattach it, but they're at the right value. This is a tubular ceramic capacitor right here. This one right here. That one checks out okay. The resistors are all okay. They're at the right values. There are 3 wax. I think they're all 3.05 600 volts. But there are 3 wax capacitors. I'm going to replace these 3. Here's 2. There's 1 down here. But here's a mystery, another mystery. This capacitor down here is not in the schematic. I have no idea why it was put in, but there were some other things under the chassis that were done that I couldn't figure out why it was done that way. I don't know, I may take this capacitor out because it's not in the schematic, and the few service notes I do have do not say anything about putting this capacitor in. So I'm gonna take it out, I think, for now. Replace these 3 wax capacitors, and then just consider what I've done under here done for now. and then I'm going to get under the chassis again. So I recapped underneath the high voltage case, the high voltage cage. These two were 0.1s and this one was a 0.05. This capacitor actually is supposed to be in there. It's a replacement. Somebody replaced it, but it's incorrectly and it's the right value. So I didn't do anything with it, but I believe I have this thing recapped correctly, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is an interesting thing here. This actually went to ground. I'm not sure where exactly it connected up to ground, but what this circuit that the guy put in was, it's a shunt. He was shunting the horizontal drive. And I find that very curious of why he needed to do that or felt he needed to add that. We'll find out, I guess. I'll find out somehow when I get if I ever get this thing working. As you can see, I've got the power supply capacitors replaced. And I've been slowly replacing some of the tubular capacitors. I got a lot to go, but right now I'm working on some capacitors in this corner here. There's actually 3 capacitors. This capacitor goes over to this fire terminal from here to there. I don't know why they did it that way. I guess maybe they couldn't fit it in any other way, but I'm in the process of continuing to recap this chassis. So anyways, I got all these capacitors replaced. I relocated this connection from here to here. This was a blank terminal that had nothing connected to it. I didn't want to stretch the leads of that capacitor that far to connect up to here. Very strange how this set was wired. I keep thinking if I actually get this thing working, I don't know, I think that's going to be it's going to be really with a lot of luck, I think, because of what I'm working with. At least if I get it enough of these parts replaced, I think I'll get closer to that goal. But right now I'm going to stop working on it today because the weather outside is changing, the barometer's dropping, and with that my sinuses are crashing, so I'm about burned out on it right now, but I'll start on it again someday soon.